who happens to be the wife of a commissioner.
Okay.
And there were 5 members that actually showed up. There was Deputy Mayor Silvio Acosta. There was Commissioner Caridad Rodriguez. There was Acting Chairman Michael Corso,
Okay.
in the stead of Ms. Rita Herrera, who was not there. There was Marissa Marrero, and there was Clara Duran.
Okay. I
called up Mr. Rendo before the meeting, and I asked him if all town employees on that board would recuse themselves because they would, if not show direct bias, they would show the propensity or the possibility of bias without determining the merits of that. Okay. He gave me half a loaf. He asked Commissioner Rodriguez to recuse herself or abstain. I don't want to put words in his mouth, which she did. He asked Deputy Mayor Acosta to abstain, which he did. He did not require Clara Duran, who works in the mayor's office, and he did not require Marissa Marrero, who I've been told is a teacher's aide. Nonetheless, she works for the Board of Education. Did not require them to recuse themselves. So the vote was 2-1 to allow this project to go forward. So I would like to know, Mayor, if you can void that decision and have another panel convene that are disinterested, that do not work for this town. Because while I recognize that Mrs. Vargas has a right to have her views aired by an impartial jury, which she didn't actually have the benefit of that. They were not impartial because of the fact of who they work for. I also have the right to have an impartial jury of people that would not suggest that the jury pool or the board of voters may be tainted due to their economic interest, due to the fact that they get a paycheck from the town of West New York. And I would like you to void that decision.
Patrick, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have a feeling, in my mind, I'm asking myself, is this an ethical question or is this a legal question? So I'm going to let the attorneys handle this kind of question and to see how we could, if not fix it now, or fix it in the future, but I don't know the answer to that right now.
The rule with regards to conflicts, which is what you're describing as a conflict of interest.
Yes.
A conflict of interest is usually not decided by the party who raises it, but is decided by the hearer of the fact, the arbitrator, the mediator, or the judge. So when I go to court and I say, Judge, you may have a conflict, he rules on whether or not he believes he has a conflict. It is not for an independent party. If you disagree with that ruling, then you get to appeal that to a higher authority. So the planning board, any ruling made by the planning board is appealable. There is a process. You need to follow that process. But you did what you were supposed to do. You raised the issue. The planning board attorney ruled on that, or in conjunction with the board. They made a ruling. They felt there was not a conflict. That is within their purview to make that decision. You may disagree with that. That's why there is an appeal process. You have the right to appeal that process. You have the right to appeal the outcome, which whether they decided for or against you. You also have the right to challenge whether or not the panel was biased. And then a judge in the Superior Court, if that's where you appeal it to, would review that and make that determination.
With all respect, Mr. DeMarco, I believe, are you an attorney as well, sir?
Yes.
I believe I'm outgunned here on 2 fronts. I have a master's degree, but it's not in jurisprudence. All right. However, I can see through bullshit. All right. With all respect, there's nothing against you.
There is a process, okay, to come and demand ab initio that this board void a hearing that was conducted is improper. You cannot just come and demand this board to overrule another board. That violates the process. You may not like my answers. You may think they're full of crap. You're entitled to your opinion. But that still does not change the process. So if you want, you can hire an attorney. You can file an appeal on your own. But to direct zoning board or planning board questions to this board is highly improper. Okay? They are not supposed to do what you are accusing the other board of doing, which is to exert influence or impartiality to remove it from that board.
I have a little agreement with having the deputy mayor be sitting on boards, and now he's even going to appoint his own sister to the planning board. I need a roll call, just so you understand. And you're right, there is an influence, and I do see something wrong with that.
I will give you, so that you can save money on a lawyer, call the Office of Regulatory Affairs of the Department of Community Affairs in Trenton, tell them about this, and they will give you a response.
Yes, would that be,
This matter was transferred to the DCA by the building department, and if it's back, it's got to be for a reason.
you know, my name is Patrick Cullen, what is yours?
I'm Gil Garcia. Nice to meet
Mr. Garcia, thank you. For disinterested parties, for citizens that were simply voting on the citizens' right to have an extension, you seem to know a lot about this case, Mr. Garcia.
I know a lot about the case.
Okay, I suppose you know Mr. Maher, Mr. John Maher, that's Mike Alpha Hotel, Alpha Romeo.
I don't know anything about Alpha.
Mr. Maher is
Spell the
the...
name.
Yes, Mr. Maher is the person of the regulatory affairs of the DCA, which you referred me to.
Yes.
And Mr. Maher told me the following. He said, well, this was already voted on by the planning board. So as a matter of fact, since it's voting on by the planning board, we're simply going to rubber stamp it here because the planning board approved it, okay? Now, I said at the outset of this description that I was not going to mention any other issues involved, but you've opened the door wide open for me to pursue what I want to pursue. Marco.
Yes, sir.
You said that Mr. Rendo, Esquire, was the arbiter or judge of the facts in this
He
case.
is the legal advisor to
Legal
that
what?
board.
Oh, and who was the judge and arbiter of the facts of that planning board?
The board. The planning board itself is the judge of that. They vote
All right.
and they make a decision.
Then why-
The planning board attorney acts as a legal counsel
Well,
or advisor.
Then I don't understand, and I know that you're not Mr. Rendell. Might ask you to get inside Mr. Rendell's
Why did he
hemisphere.
decide the way he did?
Why did he have two people recuse themselves and two others who are also employees of the town, but junior in rank?
You have me at a disadvantage, sir, because I wasn't present at the meeting. I haven't
Right.
spoken to Mr. Rendo. If
Okay.
you like, I can reach out to him and try to get his reasoning behind that.
Does Mr. Rendell work pro bono for the planning board?
No, he is hired.
He's a hired attorney, so therefore is he a disinterested person with regard to deciding who should recuse themselves and who shouldn't?
He is a member of the bar, and he took an oath to uphold the law and the Constitution of the state of New Jersey.
All right.
He will act in the best interest of the board and advise them as he sees fit based upon his knowledge and experience.
All right.
Is that
All right.
your question? I don't know.
This will be continued, I assure you all. Thank you, Tom.
I'm not going to allow it.
I'm not a member of the zoning board. I was the chairman of the planning board.
You're not allowed to discuss that because you're an independent agency. To bring it, to talk about it here is not permissible.
I object to that. I object to that. Colonel, I object to that. This man should have his say.
Listen, I have to do what is in the guidelines of the law. If my lawyer
All
is
right.
saying...
You can't mix the
I'm
two
sorry.
boards.
Freedom of speech.
He
Freedom
has
of
to say,
speech,
and
First
we
Amendment
respect
here.
it. Guys, this is the law. If he's saying that it's not right, we can talk about it.